guys, what is going on? It's your old pal CHH here today, and today we're talking about a movie I absolutely adore, so I'm so excited. We are looking at the new 4K UHD release from Scream Factory of 1990's Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Yes, you guys know I'm a big fan of the TV show, but I'm gonna say this. I've gone back and forth on this a few times over the last year or so, but I'm going to say it. My favorite horror anthology is, in fact, Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Now, the relationship I have with this movie is kind of interesting. This movie was somewhat hard to get for a while on physical media. Around 2013, 14, 15, I couldn't find the DVD. I don't know if it was out of print or just never hit in stores. I wasn't using Amazon that much at the time, so how did I watch the movies? Probably what you're wondering. Well, it was not on streaming services. I watched Tales from the Darkside for the first time on Laserdisc. I instantly loved this movie. So, just to kind of brief you guys a little bit, what I think it's so great about Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Tales from the Darkside, the movie, to me, is the equivalent to one of your favorite bands putting out a really good EP. What is an EP? An EP is extended play. So back in the day, you had LPs, EPs, and singles. Singles is literally that. It's when a band puts out a song, a single, which is what music is like today. EP is a 4 to 5 song thing that gets put out, and an LP, a long play, is a record. This is like an excellent EP from one of your favorite bands, because when you look at Creepshow or other horror anthologies, for instance, sometimes they have a number of stories. This one has 3 stories. Now, there are others that have 3 stories, but what I love about this one is it plays out so good. I think plays out from start to finish as a movie better than almost any other 3-part horror anthologies. Tales from the Darkside, the movie, is amazing. You've got Blondie in here. Awesome. You know, she's in the wraparounds with the kid. And you've got these 3 stories. Now, the interesting thing about Tales from the Darkside, the movie, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, so excuse me if you're a veteran in the horror world, if you will. This movie is really dubbed as Creepshow 3. Now, why is it dubbed Creepshow 3? Well, George Romero wrote the screenplay for this movie. There's another reason why this movie is so damn good. What happened was Creepshow 2 came out, and they were prepping to do a third one. I guess maybe Creepshow 2 was moderately successful, but for some reason, Creepshow 3 fell to the wayside. Now, there is a Creepshow 3 that does not have the greatest reputation. This was written to be a Creepshow 3. Now, when that failed, what happened was the opportunity for a Tales from the Darkside, the movie, came basically to commemorate the show. You know, the show was over, so they did a movie. This is not something that's totally uncommon. You may see some shows when they come to an end, like Elf, for instance. There was Project Elf or things like that. This is the new Planet CHH shirt, by the way. You can get this on TeePublic. But, you know, they kind of commemorate the show, but ending it with a movie. So when this movie came out, it was, I think, in a way to commemorate the show. But you've got 3 stories in here, and they're literally perfect. You got Lot 2409, you got the Black Cat, and then you got the gargoyle segment at the end. And it plays out like a live rock concert. They get you with something really gripping in the beginning, a nice high energy song. You've got Steve Buscemi, you've got Christian Slater in here, Julian Moore. The cast in this movie is also something I could go on and on about. It's incredible. Then when you move on to the Black Cat sequence, you would think, okay, this is where you go get your popcorn and drink and walk out for a second. No. I thought watching this, William Hickey is in the cat segment as well, the puppet master, if you will. The cat segment was so good, it blew me away. I was like, oh, a Black Cat segment, here we go. This is so cliche. This old guy who has this cat that's literally killing people in his family, so he hires a hitman to kill the cat. The hitman's like, what are we doing here? Then he realizes, oh my god, this cat really is something. A great climax with that segment. You know, we go back to the wraparounds with Blondie, and you know, what happens is in the 3rd segment, it's literally the main event. Like, sometimes when you watch a horror anthology as well, the last segment sometimes is not the best. They kind of give you the good stuff first. Not in Tales from the Darkside, the movie, no. They save the best for last. It is one of the best, if not the best segments from a horror anthology I've ever seen. I loved it. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's practical effects magic in here. These gargoyles are beautiful. They're haunting, they're big, they're monstrous. It's in a nice New York atmosphere, which I love. It's just a really great horror anthology. So, now that I've talked to you about the movie, this movie did not come out on Blu-ray too terribly long ago. It might have been 2019. I'll be the guinea pig for this release. If you're watching this and you're saying to yourself, I don't know, Christian, I did get the Blu-ray not long ago. I guess I'll see what you have to say. I totally understand if you're like, you know what, I've got that Blu-ray not long ago, I'm fine with that. I get that. I love this movie. This was no way I was not going to get this. I watched this movie way too often. Now, the Blu-ray release that came out was a full 1080p. They never gave info on what they used for the scan, if they used some sort of inner positive or they used a negative. From what I recall, it was just a 1080p. This 4K was incredible. It was incredible. It is up there with the likes of how good Pumpkinhead was and how good The Blob was. For all the issues I have with the way Scream Factory sells their product and sometimes the timely fashion of it, in instance this movie, cannot, and I repeat, I cannot diss them on their 4K upscaling work. This was taken from the original camera negative, and it is close to a 10 out of 10 as you can get. It didn't have Dolby Atmos, I believe it just had the 5.1, but the picture quality was a vast improvement over the previous Blu-ray release that they did have. Not that that one looked bad. For a lot of people, you may say, well, that's good enough for me, Christian. But if you're a fan of this movie and you want to see it look like it's never looked before, I was smiling ear to ear watching the 4K because I was like, oh my God, it's just like, it really does look that good. The other thing that I found interesting is they actually did have something new on here, you know, and I almost wanted to kind of poke fun at this, but I'm not going to do that. The new thing we have on here, you know, here's the back features. I usually take a picture and read this out, but we have a lot of interviews that were on the old Blu-ray release, but the one thing we do have new is an audio commentary with Emily Higgins and Billy Dunham, they're film historians, and I listened to about 20-30 minutes of it, and it was actually a pretty good listen. So there is that, and I kind of wanted to poke fun at that in a way like, well, we got something new, but it's an audio commentary with people that weren't in the movie. But it was not actually, it was actually pretty informative listening to it. It was actually very cozy listening to those two talking about the movie, and they had some great information from what I heard. I stopped right out about the Black Cat segment, so, but I commend them for, they did put something new on here. I'll give them that. I didn't know this, but the Blob 4K had reversible artwork. So I was like, well, let's see. Maybe Tales from the Darkside could have something, although this is the original poster art, which is incredible. I love the artwork for this. And lo and behold, no, there is no reversible art. But of course, here are your two discs. You get your 4K disc and your Blu-ray disc. And I will say, guys, let's say you aren't a 4K person, but you have the equipment for all that yet, but you haven't made that jump yet. The Blu-ray on here obviously has the new 4K scan, and again, I put that in my PS4 and just kind of demoed it in the my bedroom, where I have a 4K TV and all that. But I was watching the PS4 because it's just kind of like, well, I think a lot of people have that. Let me demo this with that. Even still, and again, I'm not trying to just justify other people wanting to get this because I got it. No. If you don't want this, don't buy it. I'm a big fan, so I was going to buy this regardless. But I'm just being honest. Even still, the Blu-ray for this looked a lot better. I mean, because it's the new scan. It is a extremely well done 4K. And I'm so happy about that considering I adore this movie. So guys, I loved this release. It looked incredible. It was really the one thing I was hoping for. I was going to get this regardless because I'm such a diehard. But I am happy to say this is another great 4K scan from Scream Factory. You know, for all the crap I give some of their practices with how they sell their stuff, I cannot, and I repeat, cannot knock their upscaling. They are a setting the bar, and I've really noticed a clear cut in quality up over the last year with them and how good their 4Ks have looked. I'll give this release an 8.5 out of 10. We got a new commentary. There's a lot of interviews. All the interviews from the previous releases are on here. We do have a new commentary on here, which is cool, and the 4K scan looked immaculate, guys. So, Tales from the Darkside, the movie, guys. If you're on the fence, if picture quality was your main thing, I can tell you without hesitation, I'll gladly put my name on it. This is a fantastic looking 4K. Just looked incredible. And the Blu-ray as well. Big jump from the old release. Big jump. So guys, Tales from the Darkside, the movie. It is my favorite horror anthology. I would love to know your thoughts on Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Please drop them down below. I appreciate you guys watching. Your old pal CHH. Take care. See you guys next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.